All right, everybody, welcome back to the Lions Pit podcast. I am your host, Nick Gomez. With me today is Josh Jobe, founder of Austin Fit Fest and also Austin Fitness Community. How you doing today, man?
Great, man. Thanks for having me on. Excited to be here. Excited to be the guest for once.
Yeah, right. It's nice to be on that side. I always try to be on this side when I'm interviewing. And I did coincidentally found out this is my good side because I shot one episode from over there and I was like, I don't like the way that looked.
You know what's funny was I sat down there when I got here and then I was like, this doesn't feel right. And I moved back over here. And
Perfect.
Here we are.
Yeah.
So, no, thanks for having me on. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be in Soundshed. You know, I love this place.
Yeah,
and I think,
beautiful studio.
oh, it's probably the best I've ever been in, and I have one. So,
And yeah, Matt does awesome job here, man. The whole crew here at Soundshed is phenomenal.
so great, and yeah, this is can't get much better than this.
Yeah, literally everyone I've brought in, like no matter how many like followers or whatever they have, they're always like, "Wow, this is amazing!" Like I didn't know it was like this, and I'm like, "Hell yeah!"
It's funny because we rent our studio out too, but I'll still tell people to come here.
Oh no way!
Like, yeah, if you really want like the best stuff, Soundshed's your spot.
Yeah,
So
like some de la creme.
yeah, no, again, man, excited to be here. Thanks for having me, and I'm excited to, talk about. I could talk forever.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. All things fitness, all things Austin, all
Yeah.
things.
it's
Random
my life.
fights.
Yeah, it's we just celebrated 6 years of the
Oh.
Austin fitness community, and like I was saying, before we hit air, it was an accident. I was when I moved here. Originally, I'm from Boise, Idaho,
Mhm.
and I moved here 7 years ago. And my first job, and only job, I took over managing a supplement store, and it was a Complete Nutrition. I don't know if you remember that.
No,
And
I don't know if we had those in New Mexico.
No?
We had like Vitamin Cottage, Vitamin
yeah,
stuff like that, but I don't remember Complete Nutrition.
yeah. Complete Nutrition was nationwide, but it was like select cities
Okay.
for sure. I think
Nothing
it was
happened
more
in
like the
Albuquerque.
mid. Yeah, right. So I had all this pressure on me to have like a big Black Friday sale.
Right.
They're like, you need to knock it out of the park or we might shut the store down. And I'm like, oh God. And I was sitting at home. I was actually on the phone with my old man, my dad. And he was like, why don't you just have some like billboards display your stuff or this? I'm like, I don't have money for billboards. And he's like, why don't you just get like a local social media pages to shout it out? I'm like, that's actually not a bad idea.
Yeah, doable.
Yeah. So I look and there wasn't any. And I was like, shoot, I'll just start one. Like, I'll just call it something simple like Austin Fitness Community. And I'll just shout out some of my friends, like, build some traffic and then promote our Black Friday and move on. And man, that thing blew up. And it just was like, just exploding with followers, people messaging the page. And I was like, well, okay. So Black Friday comes and goes and I'm just rolling with it. And at that point, I was getting kind of burned out working for people, like just retail. And I mean, honestly, that job was great. I did love that job. The people I worked with were great, but then they ended up selling out to high-tech pharmaceuticals. And they changed it to a supplement warehouse. And I was like, I'm not starting over. So
Yeah.
I ended up leaving and starting my own business, just doing like consulting work. But everyone was hiring me because they wanted a piece of the Austin fitness community. They wanted to be featured on there, this or that. So I just ran with that. And
Nice.
next thing you know, the demand just built up, and I was just kind of going off requests. First, it was like, you should get some shirts made. You should have like community workouts or this or that. So, I remember the first workout we did was actually we did an open gym party at Big Tex.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And so many people came that actually the cops came because the other tenants couldn't get out. Like
Oh, no
so many
way.
cars there. Yeah. And I was like, man, I might like be onto something here. So,
yeah.
the goal was always just to kind of give people a day of recognition, but then I kind of felt like I had a lot more responsibility on my plate.
Yeah.
I might have something here.
Yeah. Building community, bringing people together.
Yeah. Well, and it was really, I got started with primarily the bodybuilding community.
Yeah. Yeah.
But-
Big Tex.
Big Tex, there was there were other gyms. There was one called what was that called? It was over by the Domain. Do you remember?
Only gym I know up there is Collective, and that's like their newer location.
Yeah,
it's not that old.
This was before Collective opened, but there was another gym similar to Big Tex that was over by the Domain, and then up north was like House of Gains in Georgetown. Then south there was a couple others before all these. This is before Lift ATX even.
Yeah.
And so but I didn't want to just be like, closed down into one community.
Yeah,
so I had to like try to get out, and that was the tough part, was trying to get involved in all the different communities. I felt like a responsibility to highlight the CrossFit people, the yoga, all the movement, the athletes, the group training, the functional fitness, the Pilates. I mean,
everything.
Name it.
Yeah.
You'd be amazed at how many different communities there were, and then try to bring that together and try to find a shared camaraderie between each party. So
yeah, it's cool, man. You found like that little niche for yourself to like carve out and be like, all right, cool, no one else is doing this. Yeah, happy accident, much like myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that how you came into like the whole fitness scene? Was it just like a happy accident?
To be honest with you, that's how I came into this world, was a happy accident. But if you ask my parents,
yeah.
But yeah, no, when I first started training fighters, right guy, right time, and 100% honesty, I did it to impress a girl. I was training people. I knew that I wanted to train athletes because this was right after I was done being a college baseball player.
Okay.
And obviously found out baseball wasn't going to pan out for me. So I was like, all right, how can I still, because that was the only reason I even went to college, was for baseball. Yeah. And so I was like, all right, well, how do I stay around athletics but continue to pursue a career? And I was like, all right, I'm gonna get into training. My little sister had been working front desk at a gym, and she's like, hey, like you're an athlete. I just got my very first certification was USAW for Olympic lifting.
Yeah.
I was never into CrossFit, never really dabbled with it. I very lightly dabbled, and that's when I realized it wasn't for me. And then that was further hammered home when I got the certification, and I saw like CrossFit coaches in there just jacking around, and I'm like, you guys like are not here for the right reasons. And so, like I said, I always kind of had like a bitter taste in my mouth towards CrossFit. It's alleviated some because of the people I've met in the community. But so I get into this gym and I see this MMA fighter, and I hear her name and people are talking about like, oh, she's a big deal. I knew nothing about MMA at the time, and I go to talk to this girl that I had been kind of chatting with at the time, and I was like, oh yeah, we just got this big fight at the gym because I knew she was really into it. And she's like, oh, is it so and so? I was like, no, that name doesn't ring a bell. And she's like, oh, is it so and so? And I was like really excited about it. I was like, yeah, that's the name. And she's like, oh my God, I can't believe she's training here, blah, 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 blah. And so I was like, oh, okay, cool. I saw how like excited she was. And then when the fighter was like running late to training sessions, I'd kind of pick her trainer's brain about working with athletes. And he turns out, now that I've been in this game for a while, he knew nothing. He was getting programs from a buddy of his that was like a college football coach, and would send him like regurgitated versions of those workouts to train a fighter. They were awful for fighters. And like I said, he was built, but he's one of those guys that looked the part, but he actually didn't really know what he was doing. I didn't know that at the time. So I'm, like I said, kind of picking his brain. He goes out of town for a wedding one weekend. He's like, hey, I'm gonna be out of town. Do you want to cover Claudia for the weekend? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Again, thinking this is my in to, so I go to talk to the girl that I'm like flirting with, and I'm like, hey, let me put you through this workout real quick and see how it goes. And she's like, oh yeah, hell, I love that. And so I do that, and then I started training this fighter. I trained her just for the weekend, and we hit it off. We had a great time. The session went great. When she comes back to Albuquerque for her second camp, she had fired the other coach and then asked me to be her head strength coach. And then from there, I started doing my own research and linking up with the right people in the field, like Lawrence Herrera, who's one of the best strength coaches in the world, especially for MMA fighters, which is so funny because he has zero presence on social media. But luckily, he was working with some of the biggest names in Albuquerque, which were at the time the biggest names in the UFC.
Yeah.
So I end up, fast forward a year or two down the road, I work with her, and then I link up with Lawrence, and he started bringing me in to work with other fighters. And then, like I said, it kind of snowballed from there in the most awesome way possible.
Yeah, it's so wild. We tend to have kind of a similar background and story. Was I only went to school for football. Like that was it. And
yeah.
Which was crazy. And as a college athlete, you'll understand why this is nuts. Is I actually never even played in the first quarter of a football game till I got to college.
Oh no.
I rode the bench in high school.
Yeah.
But I
went to college.
I went to I started at Butte College. Well, I enrolled at Boise State because like I said, I'm from Boise, Idaho. But that's back when they had like the super team. And hey, I was hanging out.
Lefty quarterback they had.
Kellen Moore.
He's the OC for the Eagles now, yeah?
It's the Eagles?
I think.
Last I heard was the Chargers. So
maybe. I could be off. But yeah.
Well, they were... So prior to that, though, it was like Zabransky, Ian Johnson won the Fiesta Bowl against Oklahoma, that crazy game. And, Boise, that was like our pro team. We have no pro team. So that was our
For sure. Yeah. You know what? Sorry, not to cut you off, but you guys are or I don't know if you still are, but you were in the Mountain West.
Yeah.
So me going to UNM, like I always knew Boise State was a big time football program.
Oh, they're huge. And then, but right when that Kellen Moore era hit, after I graduated high school, I was pretty bitter. I did not have a good high school experience. In fact, I moved to Hawaii right after high school, but then I got a pretty nasty dose of reality, and I was like, I'm in over my head. Came back to Boise, started going to a small community college. Then I really wanted to play football because of that Boise State team. I was like, I want that. I want some of that glory.
Yeah.
And then I was hanging out with a lot of them, a lot of those players. And they all had me convinced. They were like, high school doesn't matter. Just train and you'll get your shot. But the number 3 team in the country doesn't need a player that has 0 high school stats.
You're right, yeah.
But I had a friend from high school that was going to Butte College in Chico, which is a junior college. And they were at the time one of the best.
Chico, California?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best year of my life. And so what happened was, trying to go to Boise State, they dismissed me hard, not even a shot in hell. So I try to go to Butte. I fill out their recruiting form. They're like, send us tape. And I'm like, I don't have any. I got some workout footage. They say no. And I'm working at a shoe store in the mall. And I hate my life.
Yeah.
Because I know I could be doing so much more. So I'm not even joking. I get this email from the coach that says we're not going to recruit you. There's no way to evaluate you.
Yeah.
I quit my job on the spot as I'm reading that email. I go home, I get in a car because I had a truck, so I wanted better gas mileage. So I get in the car and I drive to California, and I just talked my way into an opportunity.
Hell yeah.
And I just start at the bottom. I was filming practices. Yeah, it sucked. And I mean, I could not have asked for better teammates. So to go from high school where everyone just reduced you and made fun of you, and you would have a big play and they would all just make fun of you, which took away the play, to go to getting little to no opportunity and having these guys hype you up like you're, the best player. So that team ends up going undefeated. And
at Butte?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, we went undefeated, junior college national championship, won it. And then all these bounce backs came in. And I was like, damn it, I'm never going to get to play.
Yeah.
And so I transferred to Sacramento City College.
Yeah.
And then that was the first time I played, actually got to play in a college game. And I had developed an appreciation, being 22 at that time.
Yeah.
I took every practice. I'd take a minute to soak it in. Here, I get to do this. And practices were way more fun because I knew I was going to play on Saturdays. And then games were great just because I'm there and I'm doing it. I'm a part of it, right? But how that all translated into what I do now is when I got done, I moved back to Boise, and I was working, trying to find these side jobs, but then I got a job as a night manager at a gym. And I just started learning, I was really good at sales, but I was learning a lot from the trainers, and it had just become a really enjoyable hobby.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just, after that, I moved to Tacoma, Washington, and I was working as a trainer at a LA Fitness, and I'd really learned functional movements and working with different demographics of people, old people, injured people, and how to do that. So the knowledge was there. And then I moved here, got that job at the supplement store, started learning more about diet and nutrition. And then obviously with the Austin fitness community, I started getting surrounded by some of the best in the game.
Yeah.
And just from so many different elements. And so it was really something that was a hobby. I enjoyed lifting to it's my career now.
Yeah.
And I've had waves, I'm sure you've had that too, where you go, I'm so over this. I'm so tired, to now you're like, I love it.
Yeah.
And it's, I have a prediction that's pretty crazy for 2025. I think we're going to see the decline of free weight gyms. Not saying they're going to go out of business. I mean more so the interest.
Yeah.
I think that places like Onnit and the tactical games training and just group functional fitness training in general is going to skyrocket.
Yeah.
If there's anything I've learned from being around just people in the past year or so, is that they crave community.
Yeah.
They crave camaraderie, sharing a struggle and perseverance through that struggle.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was at the gym yesterday. I was at just a free weight gym, getting a lift in, and I am guilty of it myself, but I was looking around, everyone's on their phones, so you're not really getting a workout in.
Right.
There's tripods everywhere.
Oh, I hate that.
Everything's about content. And, I wasn't like, I just was kind of like miserable.
Yeah.
And I'm
I'll
guilty.
take a guess at what gym that is, but I'll leave names out of it.
Yeah, I mean, the gyms are great.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's not the gym, it's the culture. It's, when I first got into training and like working out, I was young because growing up in Boise, that's where bodybuilding.com started.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So the DeLuca brothers, they started it there. At first it was like a little, I think they were selling out of the back of a moving truck.
No way.
And then it became like a retail store, and then it turned into this massive online thing. And it's actually a good segue, was every year, I think it was in May, they would do the bodybuilding.com expo. It was great. I'm there, and it was really at the time just like an expo. It was just vendors and celebrities, meet and greets. And then they eventually added bodybuilding to it. I didn't know anything about bodybuilding.
Yeah.
At the time, I was like, everyone's pretty jacked. To this day, honestly, I still have no idea what I'm looking at. But yeah,
That's hilarious.
Oh, dude, I've been to so many bodybuilding shows, and I'm like, I don't know
That
what.
dude's huge.
Yeah.
So is that dude.
They all look great. And,
Yeah.
But that was it was one of the motivating factors into the Austin Fit Fest too. How I wanted to approach it was something we looked forward to every year. We
Yeah.
just get so much free stuff, and then everyone would post pictures of all the free stuff they got.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I never would have thought in a million years that would be my
What you're doing.
yeah.
Yeah.
The point of that was growing up in that environment, though, those gyms, the content creator thing wasn't a thing. I'm 32. So
Yeah.
it just wasn't a thing going in those freeway gyms. You were motivated by your atmosphere, the people around you. People were training, dropping weights. It was loud. And now it's like, it seems to be this trend where you go into a gym like that and it's just people filming, and it's like manufactured fun.
Yeah.
And
I don't like that.
yeah, it's like very synthetic motivation. It's unreal. It just, everything feels off and doesn't, you feel like you're in an alternate reality. And
Yeah.
that's why I truly think that group training is gonna, you're seeing it right now with run clubs.
Dude, our run club at On It has blown up. I mean, but the heart and soul of On It, as we've already kind of discussed off camera, is the community.
Yeah.
And our community is second to none. Like, I've been in a lot of other gyms, and it kind of goes back to what you're talking about with like your great teammates in JUCO.
Yep.
Like, JUCO's junior college. I played JUCO, so I always refer to it as JUCO. I say that to some people, and they're like, "What's JUCO?" I'm like, "Oh, junior college." I was like, "You must have not." Yeah, but JUCO. So as I said, your great teammates. You ask any ex-athlete, that is what they miss the most, is the locker room culture or the locker room guys, whatever the case may be. And so what On It does a fantastic job is cultivating community. I mean, we just had High Rocks up in Dallas this past weekend, and we had so many members and coaches. Like, we became like an official High Rocks training facility. And it's all just part of the community, and it just grew even more so with like the big boost in the popularity of High Rocks.
Yeah, well, High Rocks is great, and they were actually, I talked to them after the last Austin Fit Fest about incorporating High Rocks into it, but then we had to cancel in 2024. But no, I mean, I couldn't agree more. I think that when you have that type of culture around you, it just motivates you, and the workouts are fun. I mean, they suck, but they also, you feel so good afterwards. And every time I've gone up to the tactical games training, I'm like, damn it, why did I get myself into this? And the second I'm done with that workout, I feel so good.
Yeah.
And I feel like I actually got something out of that workout. But the other thing is it really, like, the workout tend to be shorter than if I go work out by myself, like do a free weight workout with like dumbbells and machines and stuff. But it's so much more rewarding.
Yeah.
And
a lot of time for like lollygagging when you do your own stuff. Because I mean, even as a coach, like, I am guilty as anybody.
oh, dude, yeah, I go down the rabbit hole. It's like if I look at my phone, it's over. But when you do those group training, you don't have time. Everything's moving so fast.
Right.
But I was warming up yesterday, and I was looking down, and I just saw all these people just standing by the dumbbells and the machines, and they're all just doing this.
Oh.
And it's like, I know I do it too. So, but I just was like, man, this is not going to be sustainable.
Yeah. One of the coolest things I've seen with the community or even with our run club or whatever, is like you see that like the people that suffer together, kind of like we talked about the people that suffer together, like they have built really good friendships. Now you're starting to see on their stories like, oh, they went to a house party together or they went to go see a DJ set together. It's like you're starting to see like these people that had never met before. They're meeting in class. They're building that camaraderie, and now they're like enjoying life together. Whether it's they're getting their families involved or whatever the case may be, you're starting to see people. Like I said, really start to like bond outside the gym. And I'm like I said, the community there is really special.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's, the cool thing is when you do find a spot like that and then you get a family out of it.
Yeah.
And that's like the Austin fitness community motto is making Austin stronger together.
Yeah.
And
I like that.
that's one of the things that I love. And coming back to your point of like the locker room mentality and stuff was, here I was with like all these guys who we all came from completely different places in the world, but we were such a tight group because we were going through, a constant, we're persevering through struggle together daily.
Yeah.
So it just made us closer. And I had a blast with those guys. And we were severely different personalities.
Yeah.
It is something I miss the most. It's something that my goal going into 2025 is to, one thing that we'd always done that was really a big hit was we would put on these open gym socials. So we'd fill it with vendors. We'd find like a big gym, like a freeway gym, and we'd just make it a free day pass for everyone. You come in, mingle, get your workout and all this. But going into the new year, the plan is to start doing more of these like community workouts where if you have to RSVP, you have to train.
Yeah.
It's not socialize afterwards or something, but I tend to think that that's where the direction of everything is going. Austin has changed so much in the past 7 years, and being such an entrepreneurial city, I think that that's a really good way to approach it in going to places like Onnit, when a lot of the people I meet here don't have family or friends. They're coming here for work. I had actually never even been to the state before the day I moved here.
No shit.
Yeah, I flipped a coin, and I love that. Yeah, that's actually how I ended up.
What was the other side of the coin?
Miami.
All right, cool. I
was living in Tacoma, Washington. I hated it. Couldn't wait to leave. And I had a friend that lived in Florida, and I was like, dude, I'm not going back to Idaho. And I was like,
simply can't.
Oh, I just didn't want to. It just felt like I was capped for opportunity there.
I get that.
And so I was really like looking at Miami, and I was gonna be 25 by the time I got there. So I was like, if I hate it, I'll just leave. I'm still young. I can travel around.
Yeah.
So I had this epic road trip planned out that went all down California and then across the South. And then I was looking at cool stuff to do in each city, and Austin just looked like a ton of fun.
Yeah.
And I grew up, my family's on musicians. Yeah.
Oh, no way. Okay.
Yeah. So
Music City.
Oh, and I loved it. The blues rock, like that was my jam. And so the more I looked at fun stuff to do in Austin, the more I was gravitating to it. And Miami was starting to kind of lose its,
luster.
Yeah. And so I was just at work, and I used to bother this lady that worked with me all the time. And I'd be like, what do you think? Miami, Austin, this? And she's like, just flip a coin. Like, I don't care. So I said, okay. So heads, I'm going to Austin. Tails, I'm going to Miami.
Wow.
Laying on heads. Like 20 minutes later, I reserved an apartment that I'm still in to this day.
No way.
Yeah.
Dude, that's amazing.
So that's how I ended up out here.
That's a sick story.
Yeah. I didn't know what I was getting into. Got out here and I only had a laundry basket full of clothes, my laptop, and a TV.
Wow.
And that was it.
I love that.
My last stop was in New Mexico.
Oh, nice.
Where? I was in, what's the place for the UFOs?
Roswell.
I thought it was an abandoned city. Nothing there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went to a biker club on accident. I thought it was a burger joint.
That could be bad.
It was fun.
Yeah.
They were all really nice.
There are some like real biker gangs though in New Mexico.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they were cool. I was just starving, and there was one motel like that was open, and so gross.
Sounds like Roswell.
Yeah. It was good.
Yeah, there's a military institute there though. Like New Mexico NIMI. We played against them in high school and in college because they have a junior college team as well.
Uh-huh.
New Mexico Military Institute. But other than that, I mean, even the McDonald's has like all sorts of UFO shit on it. Like the whole city just vibes off that, which is, like in high school, because they were in our district in high school. so we'd play against their 2 high schools. It was actually 3, but we didn't really play Nittany High School too much. But it was Roswell High and then Goddard High, and it was like a 4-hour bus trip from us, which was awful. And
especially in those yellow buses.
yeah, and that's what it was. Yeah, because it was a small country high school that I went to. It wasn't like a nice fancy charter bus or anything like that. Not like all these Texas schools have. But
Super stadium.
yeah, no, which is so wild to me. But we went there and I hated it. I was like, man, this town's such a dump. And now that I'm like older, I'm like, I actually kind of appreciate the quirkiness that is Roswell, New Mexico.
Just leaning into it hard.
Yeah, hard. Which is, cool. More power to him. Yeah, man, good for you. So my little sister moved out here, and I've probably told this story, so I'll kind of be quick through it. My little sister moved out to New Braunfels, which is about 45 minutes south, in I think 2017, maybe 2016, and moved out here with her boyfriend at the time. And I remember all I knew about Texas at that time was Amarillo and Lubbock, which are disgusting.
Yeah.
And El Paso, same thing. And I was always like, man, Texas sucks. I can't believe you're moving to Texas. It's so gross out there. And then I finally came out to visit her. And have you been to New Braunfels?
Yeah, I've been.
It's beautiful. Like there's rivers that run through it. It's so green. The hill country's gorgeous. And I'm like, oh, I did not know Texas had this. And so we come out and visit maybe once or twice a year. And then as I start to train fighters, I start to be more aware of what Onnit is. And so I come out for one of their big like warehouse sales one year, and I'm checking it out, and it's my first time at Onnit, and I'm doing the warehouse sale thing, and I'm like, man, this is so sick. And then one of Lawrence Herrera, the guy that I spoke about a minute ago, he because he opened up a strength and conditioning facility that was co-owned by Cowboy Cerrone, who's a UFC Hall of Famer, and was a big Onnit sponsored athlete. They were like an Onnit affiliated gym, like all their kettlebells and sandbags and everything were Onnit. And I was like, oh, that's so sick. And so how I ended up coming out here is, this is 2017. I go to talk to Lawrence simply about his connections with Onnit. And I had no intention of working for Lawrence at that time. But I was just done with Albuquerque, kind of like you were with Boise. I was like, I just got to get the hell out of here. And the coach that I was working for at the time, he hears that I'm talking to Lawrence, and he thinks that I'm asking Lawrence for a job, when really I was just asking about his connections at Onnit. And so he fires me over email like that day. He's like, I heard you're over at Performance Ranch asking for a job, like your contract is terminated. Total coward move. Like never talked to me in person, didn't even give me a phone call. It was an email. Yeah, hated that guy.
Yeah.
But it ended up being such a blessing, because within like half an hour, Lawrence emails me a contract. He's like, I don't know how he heard about that, but here's a contract. I'm like, all right, perfect. I end up working with like some of the biggest names in the UFC at that time, and kind of leads into the story that I already got into. But yeah, I was just trying to get the hell out of New Mexico. It ended up being a little bit delayed. Like, so that was 2017. I moved out here in 2020. But kind of same thing, dude. I had like, but 2 days before I moved out here, I didn't know where I was living.
Yeah.
I just knew that I was coming.
Yeah, no, and the thing is like, do you ever go back? Do you ever go visit?
Yeah, I have family there still.
I haven't visited home in a while, but it was never anything like I didn't have any animosity towards my hometown. It was that I just felt like when you compare a place like Austin to like places where we grew up, there's endless opportunity in this city.
Yeah.
You could start something as silly as a shout out page and turn it into a full media conglomerate.
Yeah.
Like I made an Instagram page into a business.
Yeah.
I never knew that was going to be it. And you just can't do those kind of things in those towns because they're so limited.
Yeah.
And Austin is rapidly expanding. And I always joke with my buddies when they're like, how are the ladies out there? I'm like, they're insanely gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's amazing. But the other thing is, when we come from a small town, I never meet the same people like I do when I'm back home.
Yeah.
Every time I've gone out on like a weekend or I go somewhere, I'm always meeting new people. And I've always enjoyed that a lot, because if you make an ass out of yourself, you do something embarrassing, that resonates for a while.
Yeah.
In a small town. But here, it's forgotten about within like an hour. So
yeah, because like I said, you're probably not going to see those people again.
Never.
And there's so many people here and so many different scenes and so many other people making asses of themselves. But yeah, man, when I went to high school, the entire town was like 7,000 people.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I was like, because I was originally born in LA. Okay. And then I moved out there when I was like 8. So I was like the family moving in from out of town. So like I didn't have like deep-seated roots. Like out there, if you were like a Gonzalez, a Chavez, or
I didn't name.
Oh, no way. That's hilarious. Yeah. if you were one of those 3 last names, like you were in, like you whatever, you had a little bit more privilege on the football team or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't have that. And like I said, so you really had to be careful about like the name that you did build for yourself, because word
That
gets
seemed to be the Mormon community up in Idaho. Was there's a heavy Mormon community in Utah and Idaho, and I noticed there was getting a lot of benefit, a lot of special what is the word? I don't know if privileges, but they were getting a lot of favoritism.
Yeah, that Coca-Cola money. No.
I know. You know what's crazy is I guess they got rid of that rule. I learned a lot about them. One of my best friends is he went on like his mission, but a lot of them tend to leave the church.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they have a thing called a singles ward. I don't know if you know that. That was more for like teens, I think, but
Okay.
it's basically like Mormon Tinder. It's like, think of it like youth group, but they're sending
Like Christian mingle.
Dude, I got invited to one. No one told me there was a dress code. So I showed up in like an AC/DC shirt and all this. I get there, everyone's suited up, suit and tie. They're all singing their hymns, which are extremely boring songs.
Yeah.
And they call you by your last name, but it's like Brother Joe.
Yeah, elder.
Yeah, well, elder I think is like a status. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
So where I went to high school, actually, where I went to high school and JUCO, big Mormon populations.
Where'd you play JUCO?
Eastern Arizona.
Okay.
In Thatcher, Arizona, had a very large Mormon population.
What was the mascot for them?
Gila Monsters.
Yeah,
Which is a
right.
lizard.
I had some friends that went there.
Yeah.
For football.
Yeah. So I was going to say, when you talk about like the melting pot that is college, like I had roommates from Alaska. And so like we had such a diverse, because they had what was called the WUE waiver, WUE. So certain states got like, you only had to pay 110% of in-state tuition for Arizona.
Okay.
So New Mexico, so it's not that much more than in-state tuition. So New Mexico was one of them, but Alaska was also one of them. So I met a bunch of people from Alaska and like all over the place. And just such a wild, because like that's where I met a lot of people that had left the Mormon church.
Yeah.
They're like, oh,
Makes sense.
Yeah, I grew up Mormon, but I'm like, well, you have tattoos and you were at a party last night. And they're like, well, yeah, I'm not.
They're usually the wildest ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're making up for some lost time.
Yeah. And then you get kind of the older guys on like we had a guy that was like 21 or 22 on the baseball team.
That went on their missions right after high school. It was crazy. He was a freshman or a sophomore and I was a senior, but his name was Tanner Mangum, and he was like one of the elite 11 quarterbacks. This kid was phenomenal in high school. And he committed to BYU, but then he like went on his mission. Mm-hmm. And I don't even think he played until he was like 26.
Did he end up playing at BYU?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I can't remember much about him, but there was a lot of guys from Idaho that all just went to BYU. And,
Interesting. I didn't know they had a big Mormon population up there.
In Idaho? Oh yeah. Yeah, they got Mormon temples all over town. And you know what though? Like they get a lot of flack. They get called cult a lot and stuff, but for the most part, they were like really nice.
Oh, they're great.
They were like, dude,
at least the ones I've met. Yeah.
They all have like this. You have to do like a certain amount of hours a week of community service. And I went and did some with a friend of mine once, and we just worked at like a tomato plant. Just like, I don't know, it's so random. I was like regretting that I was there, but they're super nice.
Yeah,
people, very supportive.
Yeah, one of my good buddies in high school, Silas Porter was his name. Big in the Mormon church, ended up becoming like Elder Porter.
Silas sounds like a
very yeah. But I remember, man, my dad passed away when I was 21. And I don't think I had talked to him since high school. So that's like 3 years where I didn't see him, didn't talk to him, anything like that. But when my dad passed away, like I got a letter from him, like a handwritten letter. And I was like, man, that is like the nicest thing. And it's just one of those things that kind of stuck with me. But he was that guy. Like Silas was the nicest kid. He could never play baseball on Sundays because he was part of our baseball team. And yeah, couldn't drink any caffeine unless it was Coca-Cola.
which was weird. No, I had one of my closest friends, his name was Bo Meyer, but he was like the all-American like kid. Like this dude was a phenomenal athlete, person, just everyone liked him. He was so good at sports, and he was like a all-state defensive end, like state champion wrestler. I think he like was a national something ranked shot put.
Oh wow.
It's like just a big guy, and could not have been a better friend growing up.
Nice.
And those guys all motivated me, even to this day. Like even when, the stuff I'm doing now, I start getting like discouraged, like I just hit them up. And
the most positive people.
Yeah, dude, when so not to get too sad, but the week before COVID kicked off, like I lost everything in COVID. So I was like, things were
You were out here on me?
Yeah, I moved out here in September 2017.
Okay.
And so everything was like taken off for me. Both the consulting was going well. The Austin fitness community was not my full-time job like it is now, but it was starting to like merge. I realized like a lot of the companies that were hiring me out for like consulting strategy work were just also trying to get some free promotion on that, and which was fine. I kind of saw it all working together. And then COVID hit, and right before COVID hit, I was teamed up with a local promoter to do something very similar to what the Fit Fest would be, and it was called the Texas Shredder. It was like going to be this multi-sport expo with like bodybuilding was like their team, their top tier thing, and COVID happened. We had to shut down that event. All my consulting clients, because you got to remember they shut everything down at the beginning of March. So all my renews, like all that, they were like, we're going out of business. Like, we can't pay you. So I had no new money coming in. And then unfortunately, like my best friend out here had killed himself.
Oh, shit.
Shockingly, like surprisingly. And so I'm like trying to manage all this stuff at once. And for the funeral part of my buddy, my friend Bo flew out here just so I didn't have to like go through that by myself. Yeah. And I always thought that was so cool because he'd only met my friend that had killed himself once.
Yeah.
And so, it was cool that he came out. And then, trying to build back after COVID was crazy. In fact, that's actually how the podcast started was, I don't know how familiar you are with the bodybuilding world or just in
a little bit.
So there was a guy, he came out here, I want to say it was New Year's going into 2021. It's right before that. And we were hanging out all the time. It was Callum Von Moger.
Oh, yeah. He looks like little Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah. He played Arnold in a movie.
Yes, he did.
Joe Weider. But Callum came out here. He was trying to get away from LA and COVID, like all the restrictions and stuff.
He tore his ACL right around that time, I feel like?
No, this was after that.
Okay.
Yeah, after all his injuries, he was like slowly climbing back.
Okay.
He had a goal of coming back. But he had come out and I met him at Big Tex, and while everyone was fangirling, I was going crazy. Like I had no friends to hang out with, and I straight up was like, dude, like, you want to just go run around town tonight? Like I just want to get out. And he was like, let's go. And so we ended up having so much fun that night. And then after that, we just go to the gym and talk and hang out. And
nice.
He had convinced me that like podcasting was going to be a thing.
Yeah.
And that I should get into it. And so up until we announced the podcast, I'd actually always kept my face off the Austin Fitness page. I thought it would be better to leave it as a brand that everyone felt a part of versus like trying to boost my own ego.
Yeah.
Like follow me. And I just didn't want to do that stuff. But the original concept of the podcast was to have two high profile individuals from different walks of life interview each other, kind of like Variety does Actors on Actors.
Mm-hmm.
So my first idea was to have Callum and then Tim Kennedy, who was actually our second guest on the show,
nice,
interview each other. But then Callum, he unfortunately had kind of like a spiral down. He went through some pretty rough times, and he ended up having to go back to Australia for a while. But I also learned that scheduling high-profile people is extremely difficult.
Yeah,
and that you never know when they're actually going to like, be like, all right, let's go like tomorrow or something.
Right.
So
available noon.
Yeah. And as you've noticed, I can talk a lot. So I was like, shoot, I'll just run it.
Yeah.
And so that's how it started. And I got the office space, and COVID had wrecked my life.
Yeah.
And I was very fortunate that the landlord of that place was like willing to work with me. So got that, and show took off, and it's been a ton of fun, as I'm sure you're learning doing your own shows. And then building off of that, I've always been big on doing big things.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted anything that like the Austin Fitness Community brand was associated with to be associated with big things. Like I wanted there to be so much value, because I feel like the fitness industry has become infected with materialism and like, unauthentic things. And I've never been a fan of that. I want there, I saw a really good video the other day by Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Oh yeah.
And he said he believes that there's a difference between content and art. And content is just recycled, just trying to get things out there, just be seen, people chasing likes. Yeah, just they just want a moment, of validation. And then there's art, which are long lasting, things that can be revisited, things that can be remembered, just things like that. And that's always stuff I've been gravitated to. I've always wanted to do something that if people were coming to support or things they were going to come watch or something that I was essentially rewarding them for their time and support versus just try to do things to be seen and try to, make a reel out of it.
Right.
So how the point of all that was that's how like the Fit Fest came to be. Was I was doing these open gym parties and they were fun.
Yeah.
I mean, we would get huge turnouts, and the original concept was I was going to do a farmer's market. And I went to,
Interesting.
It was.
I love a good farmer's market. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, well, I was gonna do like a fitness farmer's market, just have all these brands and like different companies. And I knew people were struggling coming out of COVID.
Yeah.
And they were just looking to just be, get exposure. And so I was, at the time, I was just working out full time over at Big Tex. And most people in Austin are familiar with or know that gym or the owners, Rob and Esther, who are incredible people. I mean, they gave me my start from the beginning of back when I was still at Complete Nutrition. And, I kept telling them I want to do this fitness farmer's market, but I think I'm going to need help. Like I can't take all this workload on by myself. So they were down. They're always down for whatever. And I remember talking to Rob, and, bless Rob, but he can't remember things all the time. He kept calling it the Austin Fit Fest because at the time it was the Austin Fitness Farmers Market. And he just kept calling it the Austin Fit Fest. I go, dude, that's an awesome name. We should just roll with that. Like, why don't we just make it like an expo or something? And they were really involved in strongman and powerlifting. Mm-hmm. So they wanted to include that. And then it just grew from there. And so what had happened was we're like, well, let's just get an expo center. Like, let's make it like a real thing.
Yeah.
And so we got the Palmer, and then once we started slowly getting the word out, Austin Barbell hit us up, and that's the Olympic weightlifting team, and they wanted a piece. And then at the time, Rob and Esther were doing the melee fights, and so they were already working with the jiu-jitsu mixed martial arts community, and the rest was just history. We had CrossFit, jiu-jitsu, strongman, powerlifting, Olympic weightlifting, and then the fights. And that was crazy. I couldn't, and then kind of going back to what I was saying earlier, going to the bodybuilding.com expos, I was like, I can't believe
I did this.
I'm doing my own. Yeah. Looking around like, damn, we did this.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And then when we did it the second time, it was even bigger. But cool thing was we had Callum there.
Nice.
We had Boss Rutan.
Oh, wow.
Lauren Murphy, she's a UFC fighter.
Yeah.
She's amazing, by the way.
I think she's out of Houston.
She's out of Houston. Yeah. She did the Austin Fitness podcast. It was great. It blew my mind because the first time I met her, she was so like reserved, quiet. So I wasn't like sure how we were gonna do it. And she blew me away in that podcast. She was so funny, and
she fought for the title.
Yeah, did she?
Yeah, she fought for the title. Yeah.
Yeah, she is a special human being for sure.
Nice. I've never met her, but I'm
dude, happy to introduce you. I'd go for it. Yeah, she's great. She comes up here often.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
But all these guests came. So, at Callum, we had Frank McGrath, like they all came just for us for free. I don't have to pay anyone.
Oh, that's wild. Good for you.
Supporting us. Well, that's the point, is like they were just very supportive.
Yeah.
And
I love that. Yeah. Those are the best kind of people. Like, if I ever reach any sort of level of celebrity status and I can help people out, like absolutely. That was one of the big things I picked up from. I worked with John Jones, and one of the first handful of conversations I had with him, he was like, "Yeah, use me. Like, how can I help you? Yeah. How can I help you grow?" And I was like, "This is John Jones. Like, he doesn't owe me anything for sure, and let alone like barely even know me. But he knew that he trusted me as a coach, and like I went on to work with him with 4 different camps, but." It was one of those things I was like, man, I would love to be able to return that favor.
Yeah, same. Like that's my ultimate goal, and what I love doing. That's what we were talking about a little earlier. Is I don't understand the gatekeeping ideology where it's, Rob and Esther actually had told me a long time ago, which really shifted my mindset in how I approach working with people, is Austin is so big, and I could not like understand how, as gym owners, when a new gym in Austin would open up, they would go and then they would promote that gym on their gym page.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Like,
Yeah.
you never see that. And they just said, why would we not help them?
Yeah.
Austin's so big, everyone can win here. And that
There's no
always-
scarcity mindset.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be, because like you said, there's so many people.
There's so many, and there's so much like there's so many things that people can do here, and I've always like adopted that going forward, and for me, like you had John Jones. For me, was Tim Kennedy.
Yeah.
Tim was I couldn't believe he said yes. I get asked all the time, like, oh, how did you get him? I'm like, dude, I DM'd him on Instagram. Like there was no like introductions, nothing, and he just said, yeah, I have this, but I'm there. Like, he was supposed to be our first guest. He ended up being our second, just for scheduling. But
Yeah.
this dude showed up, put on a great show. He is a great guest. I hope you get to work with him.
So my first guest was Andrew Craig, who's the head MMA coach at 10th Planet.
Okay.
He works for Tim.
Oh, cool.
And so I've been fortunate to meet Tim at a couple of different events. I went to his grand opening up at Cedar Park.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would love to have Tim on.
Oh, he is the best.
One of my probably like maybe my favorite book I've ever read was Tim's book.
Oh,
like
yeah.
I've listened to, I say read, I've listened to books.
Yeah.
I think I've listened to it 3 times.
Yeah, no, Tim, I mean, he is that guy that he makes time. For someone as busy as him, it's
He's
unbelievable.
insanely busy.
And yeah, he's always been a huge help. And then, like I said, I also had Boss Rutan on.
That's sick.
That was he's in Austin now too.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought he was in the area. I wasn't sure if he was in Austin, but
Yeah, no, he's a little south. But he dude, we had like the best day together.
Yeah.
Like, we spent that whole day. So he drove to our studio in the morning. We did the show. After that, we went to a gym and we just shot some stuff because he has the O2 trainer. And then we went out to dinner, and he drove me the whole time. My car is like not a good car. So it was crazy to like sit with him and just jam out to so many different, every time we got back in the car, it was a different type of music. And we'd go from like orchestras to like 80s rock to like techno, like house music. Yeah, he loves it. And I have a Boss Rutan playlist because of that. And then after that, we went to the comedy show.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It was just the best. Like, he is such a nice guy. And I just remember asking him, like, if he'd want to be a guest at the Fit Fest. I was like, I just don't, have anything, but like, I would love for you to come out. And he's like, let me just make sure there's no karate combat. But if there's not, I'm there.
Yeah, he's big with the karate combat.
Yeah, he's one of the owners.
Yeah.
And so,
I didn't know he was one of the owners.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so he calls me up. It's like 2 days before the Fit Fest. He's like, all right, no karate combat. I'll be there. Like, just send me the details. And
That's sick.
dude came out, had a blast.
True legend too. I mean, that guy's a name in the MMA community.
Couldn't be a nicer guy. Yeah, now he's shooting the movie with the Rock about Mark. What's that guy's name? Can't remember. It's Mark something, but
I don't know.
it looks good. It's an A24 movie.
Okay.
So
Nice.
yeah.
So you're bringing back Fit Fest this year.
I'm hoping.
It's
So
25.
So one of the things that I haven't talked about publicly yet,
Feel free to.
Here we go. Yeah, no,
it's the news.
is the city of Austin has become extremely difficult to put events on for. So there was only 3 convention centers available in Austin. Now there's going to be 2 because in March the Austin Convention Center shuts down for like 4 to 5 years for reconstruction.
Years. Wow.
So there's only really 2 available. There's the Palmer Event Center, which is where we did the first 2 Fit Fests, and then there's the Travis County Expo Center. Palmer's good, but we've almost outgrown it.
Oh wow.
Or we need more space, which is what we wanted the convention.
Good problem to have.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have, but it's there's a lot more to it than that I've learned a lot just by putting these on. And then the Travis County Expo Center is cool, but the layout doesn't really complement the sports aspect that we bring to the expo. But the other thing too is that the city, like, their fees are outrageous and unjustified. And an example I always use is in year 1 of the Austin Fit Fest, say you were a supplement brand, like you wanted to sample out some aminos or something. Well, you had to pay the health department like an $80 fee. Then you also had to, like, they wouldn't communicate very well, and they would be like, oh, there needs to be a COVID hand washing station, like all this, extra stuff. And, $80 after paying us the vendor fee, it's not cool, but it's manageable. Well, in year 2, it went from $80 to, I think, $300. And I just started noticing there were all these like random out of nowhere fees for random stuff. But there was a lot of miscommunication, turnover from the venue side. But the point is the venues are owned by the city. So they're not like privately owned. They're all city owned.
Yeah.
And so there was so much miscommunication and lack of transparency. And then what would happen was, and it felt like borderline extortion, was a week or two before our event, they would be like, you have to pay a fee for this and this and this. We're like, where are these coming from? But if we don't pay them, they shut our event down.
Damn.
And so
it's weeks before.
Yeah. So, you know, those are things that we can work around, right? Like I'm used to speed bumps, and I'm used to finding ways, and I have a really good team with us. But one of the things that I'm trying to bring, you know, more public is there's a mass exodus of sports and fitness promotions leaving Austin. All the bodybuilding shows have left Austin. They go to San Marcos, they go to Houston, Dallas, Waco, anywhere.
San Antonio, I think, does a bodybuilding contest here.
Yeah, well, I mean, the running event that just happened, they'll be in San Antonio next year. To be fair, though, that could just be because the convention center is closing. But, you know, the
Fox doesn't come here, do they?
No.
Yeah.
But they did one year, I think. But no, everyone's going out of Austin because the issue that I'm running into. You know, there was the KetoCon newly named Hack Your Health Expo.
Okay.
They're gone. I'm friends with them. They said they're going to stay in Florida this year.
Oh, wow.
The Rogue Championship, even though that was up in Round Rock at the Dell, they went to Switzerland this year. Rumor has it, I think they're coming back, but I wouldn't be surprised if they go out of Austin.
Yeah.
And it's just things like that, you know. And then recently, like the Raw Dog Run Club guys getting tickets for having community events. They were getting hit with what was it? They were getting cited for not having mass gathering permits. It's just like, what are we doing? You know?
Yeah, that's absurd.
And it's like, you're gonna just when you start to punish all these things that bring people to the city, no one's gonna want to come here anymore.
Yeah.
And so with the Fit Fest, I really want to bring it back this year, and I want to make it big, like much bigger than the first two.
Yeah.
But if I'm not going to make anything off it, and they're going to force me to put the burden on the consumer or the vendors, like I'm not going to do it. I just I can't feel good about forcing a small business to pay our expenses, which are essentially just the city's expenses, which can't be justified. Yeah. And so we'll see. We're hoping to, we got a few ideas up our sleeve that we're looking at. With the convention center closing down, though, it does limit our options on venues.
Yeah.
There aren't really any expo centers in the area, so we might have to go out of town a little bit, but I don't want to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was such a cool event. So yeah, that'd be a bummer if they make it too difficult to bring back.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I'm trying to work with them. I worked with a nonprofit group recently that like audits the city on certain things like that. And they've been great, but I haven't really seen any traction from them lately. But I would rather work with them on finding a solution than just like taking jabs and pointing at them. I just feel like this doesn't get anywhere.
Yeah. I'm no benefit to that.
But no, yeah, with that, you know, that's on the plate for 2025, with the Austin fitness community. Another thing I haven't even brought up publicly is we're going really heavy in the media division. We're like halfway through a documentary shoot right now.
Is that the jiu-jitsu thing you're talking about?
Yeah, it's called The Rise of Jiu-Jitsu, and it highlights how Austin has become recognized as the jiu-jitsu capital of the world, but also kind of recognizing how the sport has just grown exponentially.
Yeah.
And we've been very fortunate to interview some of like the best grapplers in the world that also just happen to be residents in Austin.
Yeah.
So we're doing that. Going to start shooting the podcast again. That'll be fun.
Nice.
I want to do more events, like community workout events, you know, and really just kind of continue to be, you know, the city's largest like information hub. Yeah. Our website gets 10 times the traffic as our social media.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, if you ever get a chance, check it out.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, you already said you have a good relationship with Larry and Danico over at All. I love to say if there's anything I can do to help.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's where I want to do the first workout.
Man, we love hosting stuff like that, and they're always such huge events. And we'll have a bunch of vendors like Noco and Blenders, and Roca, and all kinds of shit out there, which is great. We'll bring in a DJ, like we'll have them in the weight room. And
I went to the one recent one. God, I can't remember what it was, but my media guys actually shot the drone footage.
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
that drone footage was so dope.
Yeah,
they like did
shout
such
out to Larry and Johnny, man. They're the best. They saved AFC for sure.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
It did such a good job of showing like just how packed we were.
Yeah.
Because like it was like a flyover in the weight room, and I was like, damn, there's a lot of bodies in there, and it was just so great.
Dude, I ever tell you about my first workout there?
Nuh-uh.
So I went to one of those Friday workouts.
Yeah.
And I got picked last, which was discouraging. Because you know how they pick teams?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, I mean,
no one knew who I was. So I got picked last, but then I told everyone, I'm like, guys, because this is prior to me getting more involved in like the group fitness training. And I was like, I'm a cardio liability. And I was in Mike Gonzalez.
Oh, man. And he's a cardio
He's
freak.
a freak.
Yeah.
And he, I remember just getting on the assault bike, started running, and he just like kicks me off. He's like, I'm just going to take over. But everything else is pretty good. I brought a friend of mine with me to the workout, and he even was like, that was brutal.
Yeah.
That sucked.
Those workouts are tough.
Yeah.
The Fuck You Friday workout.
Yep. But it woke me up to it. I realized how much I enjoyed doing that. And then the next one I did was I was doing a memorial event for Tulsi Gabbard.
Ah, okay.
Up at Staccato Ranch.
Nice.
And we did this. We did the Mogadishu Mile. That sucked.
I was gonna say I don't even know what that is.
It's I'm trying to remember how it is, but all I know is I was so tired, and I was already like actually tired. I had like 3 hours of sleep because I was so nervous for the event. But yeah, it was brutal. But compliments to Tulsi. She is an incredible human being.
Yeah.
I was right with her doing the workout the whole time. And after the workout, I sat down for maybe an hour, just like I was so tired and I didn't want to talk to anybody, and I was exhausted. And she took the time and talked to probably every single person that attended the event, probably 300 people.
Wow.
I watched it. I just was like, how's she doing this?
Yeah, how's she have that energy?
Like, I flew my older brother into town for that, and because he's a vet, and I barely talked to him about it. I was like, so she is a freak. But it just like, I started warming more up to the idea of like, man, this might be the future.
The route. Yeah.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, that's by far like our biggest thing is our community workouts, like our group fitness, our small group workouts, and then all of our classes and stuff is what makes us like what we are. Don't get me wrong. We have a lot of like open gym memberships, and then a lot of private training as well. But like the groups are the heart and soul, like I said, of On.
Oh yeah. And you said you've been there 4 years now?
Yep. Yeah. Coming up in March will be 4 years. Yeah. And so I came in right after COVID, and they saw my resume and they knew who I was, and they were like, man, we'd love to have you in, but we don't have any coaching openings right now. But do you want to start in front of house? And I was like, yeah, hell yeah, get my foot in the door and on it. Like, let my foot in the door and see what I do with it. And I loved it, man, because some coaches have come in. We've brought in some guys that have like a bigger social media following or whatever, and have been presented the same opportunity. Like, yeah, we'll get you in, but you have to start at the front of house. And some guys don't check their ego. And I was like, yeah, I'll put my resume up against anybody, but I will happily start in front of house. And I think I always tell people, like, man, everyone should work in the service industry.
Yeah.
Work in a restaurant, and you'll gain a whole new appreciation for the people that are serving you at a restaurant, but you'll also understand what's a good and a bad waiter. But like going into a gym, especially a gym like On It, that is so dynamic, working in front of house. And I mean, I've met some of my best friends there working in front of house. I met some like long lasting clients when I was just up at the front desk, like checking people in and just conversations start.
Yeah.
But it also gives you an appreciation for what's going on behind the curtain that like a lot of people don't see. You see how difficult it is to set up a membership, or making smoothies for people, and just even dealing with people that are just got done getting their ass kicked in a workout, and now they're up there like, hey, I ordered this and it gave me this. Like, hey, you have to understand, you have to be patient and kind of handle things differently. And so like I said, you learn a whole different appreciation for that side of the business. So I'm very, very glad that that's how I started. And it also got me a lot of credit with the higher ups On It at starting how I started, because I did check my ego, and I was very humble and like eager to do anything they asked of me. And it was just very, very great situation for me.
Yeah. Did you find yourself asking a lot of questions, like when it comes to learning, like the training aspect of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially, I mean, you know, when I worked in a restaurant, I worked a position called Food Expo. I was taking food from the kitchen to the waitresses. Like I never actually worked in the kitchen and I didn't wait tables, but I saw both sides of it. And so like working in like we're making smoothies and on, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I get a Texas food handler's license and all this other shit. I was like, all right, cool. I don't know anything about it, but I went out of my way to start like shadowing classes. Like, you know, Juan.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, Juan's obviously a big.
I had Juan on the show. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Juan's great. I had him episode as well, and that was fantastic. And then there's a trainer named Rain who is very prolific as well. I went out of my way and I was like, hey, I know I'm not gonna get paid for it, but can I shadow these coaches, like just to get a taste of how you guys are doing things? And again, that went really far, as well as like, you know, my work ethic and what I was willing to do for the company. And it's been a fantastic relationship.
See, that's awesome. And I love hearing those things, because I just feel like nowadays in the fitness industry, I just keep coming across these know-it-alls, these people that they think they have everything figured out and they don't care to hear objecting opinions or things that are different. They don't want to learn. And I'm like, I want to soak it all in.
Oh, man.
I have to deal with this common misconception that because I own Austin Fitness Community, that I am like Mr. Fitness Community. I could not be farther from it.
Yeah.
Like I am constantly learning new things. You know, I have a pretty, you know, solid knowledge on health and wellness, but I am in no way an expert.
Yeah.
I am in no way certified to give out any type of like health advice to people.
Yeah.
But it's crazy to me that how much I see nowadays from people that they just making shit up.
Yeah.
And it's like they just are. I see these coaching programs come out, or the booty programs, or the six. That's why I'm so grateful for people like the Goob. You know.
Oh yeah. Oh,
John Dorsey.
Yeah.
I had Goob on the show too.
No way.
Yeah, and me and him are pretty good friends. And he is a great person.
Okay.
But he's so smart, and it was so nice to see someone just calling out this hilarious joke of a lot of what the fitness community and industry had become.
Yeah.
And it's kind of what I was mentioning earlier, where it's just become so affected by, you know, materialism, that I really want to play a role in shifting the narrative and focus back onto accolades, instead of, you know, celebrating aesthetics and followings. You go back to celebrating legitimate achievements, like, you know, the people at High Rocks. You know, those are things that I love to see. I love to see people that trained for something, then they went and they tested it, right?
Yeah.
I don't care about social media followings. I don't care about,
which is so like against what everyone says.
Dude, it's and it burns, like it rubs people the wrong way, especially the position. I mean, man, when I did the Fit Fest and we were looking for guests, I can't tell you how many different like fitness influencers or people would hit me up for free tickets, or they want to be a guest, and I would be like, okay, well, what do you do? What's your resume? And they couldn't even tell me anything. They would just say, I have 600,000 followers. I'm like,
and
what does that mean?
Are you bringing all of them?
Yeah. Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
And they just hate it. They hate to have their, like, you know, their reality,
what they should be valued.
Yeah. And I'm really hoping that going into the new year, people, you know, we start focusing back on reality again.
Yeah.
And things that are worth celebrating, and not just falling into this rabbit hole of, you know, aesthetics again, and you know, the models and the thirst traps and all that. And I'm starting to see the pendulum swinging. I think people are kind of just burned out on it.
Yeah, guys like Goob, and do you follow Lane Norton?
I haven't met Lane. I've seen a few of his things.
He's very similar to like calling people out, like calling out the BS, and then like posting like his like articles that he's read and like all the studies that back like what he's saying, and it goes against like what doctor so and so is selling you, this crap diet, you know, and it's like, no, that's not real. This is just people like selling you shit. You shouldn't be an actual doctor or fitness influencer or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But yeah, Lane Norton's great at that kind of stuff. It was Lane Norton, Colin Van Moger, and one other guy that like were like my very early, like as soon as I got on Instagram, people like follow these guys. So it's really, it's funny that you bring up Callum.
Yeah, you know, Callum was great. It was, you know, what was funny was I kind of knew who he was, but I, you know, my, like, the things that I fangirl over are like music and like movies. That's how I got into shooting this documentary. Is like I grew up loved making movies.
Oh, nice.
But I had like a vague idea of Callum. Honestly, all I, you know, had was like people telling me like, oh, he's just a big time YouTuber. He's in this movie. And I was like, okay. And so I was at the gym, run into him. We started talking, and then we were just friends. Like, I didn't really care about his Instagram.
Yeah,
I didn't really care.
celebrity status.
Yeah, I didn't care about any of that stuff. And we would talk about a lot of the stuff behind the scenes. And I could tell he just really enjoyed having like genuine interactions with people. But dude, he was so great with fans. Like,
Nice.
like we would be at the bar, or we'd be at like a restaurant or something, and he'd be like laying something on me. Just, bros, just
Bro
talking.
talk. Yeah.
And someone would come up and be super pumped. And he would just interact with them like they'd been friends for years.
Yeah.
And he would ask them a lot of questions about them. He never made it about himself. He always took pictures. He was a great guy. But I was never part of that. Like, I never had like fit idols growing up.
Yeah.
I knew about some. Like, I grew up, I used to see Steve Cook all the time at the gym because he's from Boise. And then I'm trying to think, there really wasn't anything like that I had growing up. So when I meet these guys now, it's kind of cool because I just get to learn about them from those interactions.
Yeah.
Versus like, I've been following you forever. And,
Yeah.
oh my God. Yeah. So it's really cool. But, I'm hoping that with all that said, we are starting to shift back into legitimacy and credibility and actual educated, individuals versus just the, only fan models disguising themselves as coaches.
Yeah, so that was kind of, honestly, that was like the realization or like the moment of me even doing the podcast. Because I would have people like, oh gosh, what's the name of the program, the online program that Juan's a part of? Gosh, I can't think of it. They came and put a big event on it, at On It. And they're like, a lot of their like people were there, and we were putting on like different workouts and like filming a lot, getting a bunch of content out there. And I was always like, I don't belong here. I'm not an influencer, but I got invited to be there.
Yeah.
And so I was like, kind of a couple of the scenes, like I'm in the front or whatever, but I had so many people, like not only in that experience, but like in other instances, like the guy that helped me get all of this together, they're like, man, you should be talking to people. Like you should be in the front of the room. And I was like, I don't desire the spotlight. And they're like, well, that's why you should get it. And I was like, nah, I was like, who's going to listen to me on a podcast? I'm like, that's why you should be talking on a podcast.
No, it's the same approach.
Yeah. It's like, because I'm not reinventing the wheel and so many, like you said, so there's so many like ass programs out there, not just like glute workouts, but actual like trash workouts out there where people are trying to reinvent the wheel. And it's like, I always tell people, I was like, honestly, especially because I'm much more of the strength and conditioning background, like traditional, like athletic development type stuff. And I always compare it. I'm like, it's vanilla ice cream. There's a reason why vanilla ice cream is still a very popular flavor. And you just throw in your chocolate chips and your sprinkles here and there, but like it is very vanilla, and that is tried and true.
I couldn't agree more. It's when I started the pod, to me it was just I kept finding myself surrounded by like really cool, high profile people, and I was like, man, I don't want to be the guy that's like trying to mislead people, thinking that like I'm hanging out with them or try to get like. I didn't kind of similar. I didn't really care about fame.
Yeah.
That's why no one knew who ran the AFC page for years. I didn't care about making it about me. With the pod, it was just kind of something that I had to do. Like I was mentioning earlier, no one else was going to host it. But I always tell people the reason why I focus on these high profile guests that we have on the show is because no one's tuning in to watch me.
Yeah.
Like I would rather, if someone's going to tune in and watch the show, like they get to see someone that they admire, versus just me ranting about something.
Yeah.
And that was kind of why I started the other show, that Everyone Hates Josh, was because a lot of my friends were in the fitness space. So I was like trying to do stuff with them. But man, I just, as tempting as it still becomes, like it's hard for me to want to like fall into that content creator lifestyle.
Yeah.
I think there is a lot of cool stuff that can be done with it. I just don't want to lose myself. I've noticed this like high rise. I don't know if you've seen this, but everything just feels staged and fake now.
Yeah.
Like reactions, even fights, arguments, like, and I always catch myself going, why are they filming this right now?
Yeah. Oh, dude, I think that all the time. I'm like, that was so fake.
Yeah. And then it's like the gym outrage, and it's just rage bait is what they call it. And I just don't want to be a part of that. I would rather have everything I do be fun and authentic, not mislead people. That was like, who's the guy? Christian owns Alpha Land.
Oh gosh,
but he's like the king of
I can't think of
he's like the king of like creating like rage bait, like misleading headlines, like
Yeah.
friendship over or something with like him and the sour strips owner.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, they're still friends.
Right. Yeah.
I just don't want to ever mislead or undeliver on those things.
Yeah.
I would rather be recognized by authenticity and not, it's like you were saying, we're not reinventing the wheel, but
Yeah.
it doesn't mean I can't do something fun and cool. And
Right. And I think that's like what's lacking and what also makes people stand apart is like genuine interactions.
yeah,
I mean, at least I know like as far as like with me and my clientele and even like coaching classes, like it's the genuineness that I bring that I think makes me stand apart from a lot of other things.
it is tough to find nowadays.
Oh, dude, it's tough because so many people put on such a facade to gain a following.
Oh, yeah, it's like all they care about. I just saw the cringiest thing the other day of these two people. They're like laughing together, but it was like, I was like, are they joking? Or is this like a fake laugh? And they were like trying to promote it as like, we both are just making each other laugh. And I'm like, man, what is going on? Oh, dude, it was hard to watch. And, I've been trying to check myself to where I'm not on my phone a lot. It is tough because you just get so addicted to just
Oh yeah,
that
dopamine hit.
But, that's why, like, again, with whatever I shoot or do in the future, I want to make sure that I'm earning those versus just like trying to like bait people in. God, I see these like social media experts all the time trying to teach people how to like
Yeah.
get a view and this and that. And I'm like, gotta stop. Like,
Yeah.
you gotta get back to reality and not just chase, people are chasing likes,
Yeah.
versus wanting to do meaningful things.
Yeah.
And I just don't ever want to do that. I don't want Austin Fitness community to become that. I don't want to become that as a person. I want to create something where everyone feels like it's authentic and real and that they're actually a part of something versus they all got to have their phones out and things like that. I've been in so many of those environments. I look around, I just like, none of this is real.
Yeah.
It's so bizarre.
I know, dude. It's so weird. And because like, man, if I look back at my Instagram page over the last year, I probably, before October, because October I posted a bunch because I was doing the Squattober workouts from Sornex, so I posted a handful of those. But before October, like if you look at the calendar year before that or the 12-month span before that, I maybe had like 3 or 4 posts. But I could tell you the fighters I trained probably went like 9 and 2. You know what I'm saying? Like, 'cause that's like something that I actually care about versus like, I couldn't even tell you right now how many followers I have. I think it's like around 2,300, 2,400 on Instagram. It's like,
well,
I don't care about that.
I've reduced myself to following, and it's like I would never reduce you to that. And it's, the hardest thing I think I've had to deal with over the last few years is when I first got started in the entrepreneur world, and I was doing something right, and I call you up, I invite you, I go, hey man, I got this event coming up, I'd love for you to come out. I would get one of two answers back in the day. It would be, I'm there, man. Like, I can't wait to be there. I'm there to support, blah, blah. Or I get, no, I can't make it, man. Sorry, I'm unavailable. Now, the answer I commonly get is, who's going to be there? And I just find that such a shitty response, by the way. And it's like, you're waiting to commit to something because you're got a serious case of FOMO. Like, you won't commit to something I'm doing because you're afraid that you might miss something else that could possibly boost your social media status. So you're willing to just, give me an open-ended answer with stuff I need. That drives me crazy. But another thing that I cannot stand that has become a trend nowadays culturally is, say someone's talking about you, Nick, my friend here, they'll introduce you by name and then your social media following, which is
bizarre,
bad shit crazy to me.
Yeah.
It's, I would never introduce my friends as so-and-so social media following. It's so-and-so. That's enough.
Yeah.
Or what they do for work.
Yeah.
Depending on what we're talking about. But man, I throw a boat barge every year, big boat party.
Oh, nice.
Just do it for me. Like, I don't make money on it. I do it for fun. It's kind of my way of like getting to just having a day out on the lake with like all the people that I'm friends with or have supported.
Keep an eye out for that invite.
Yeah, dude, I'll hit you up next time. Right. But this past year was the worst one I've ever done for me. I just did not have any fun. I was so stressed out. And it was because of that. It was, I could not get people to commit because they kept asking who's going to be there. How is this going to benefit my social status versus I just want to go out and have fun.
It's not a fucking networking event.
Dude, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I'll throw networking events on.
Yeah.
Same thing.
You can turn it into that. Like, I can go there and hope
Yeah.
to meet someone, but it's like, I'm not going to ask you, like, oh, is so-and-so going to be there? Okay, I'll be there. Oh, they're not? I think I'm busy.
Yeah. It's just, and then I get hit up all the time, like, can you link me with so-and-so? And I'm like, okay, why? Like, what do
Yeah.
you do? And they don't do anything. And so it's like, I know we were talking earlier about gatekeeping, and it's like, I'm not going to introduce someone if there's not like a purpose, like
Yeah.
you're just trying to chase clout.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah, because then it looks bad on you.
Yeah. Oh,
Like, I just got, like, my friend that I care about that happens to have some status
yeah.
to do something with you, and you make me look like an ass. Like, I can't
And
stand
that's
that.
how it works. But yeah, I'm really hoping that trend dies out heading into the new year, where we get back to creating authentic relationships, because most of my friend group has like moved away. So making friends now has been a lot tougher because I just can't subscribe to that ideology
Yeah.
of this, then the fake laugh photos, like all the, it just, I don't want to be a part of that. I want to get back to real laughing and like real fun and real
People.
training and real people and community that's not a facade. But when I first started, it was so great.
Yeah.
I mean, God, the support that we would get from just people in general, and it was all unconditional. There never had to be conditions with it, and that's what I'm trying to bring back and do for people, and hoping that will take off again. The new year's coming up.
Yeah. Do you know, have you met Allie Holcomb from LSKD?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've met her for years.
Yeah, she's great. She's one of my favorite people. Like, every time she asked me for like, last week or the week before, they had their Black Friday flag football game. I'm like, yeah, I'm there.
Like, see, those are things that I would love to go to. And I've known her for so long, and since she used to work with NOCO
and Bell. Yeah.
And that's I'm trying to think who else, like part of that group is like Nikki and all that. They're great.
Yeah. I know like 2 or 3 of those, that kind of group, but I've become pretty good friends with Allie. She's great people.
Yeah, Allie's awesome.
And that's with 50% more running than everybody else. They are such
No one corrected him.
beasts. No, finally someone like the other. I think maybe the team that came in first, let some of our other guys know. They're like, hey, because they were like neck and neck. They're like, your guys are running too much. But I think it was like too little, too late. I don't think they knew until after.
That would suck,
dude. Yeah, and they were killing it. That's the thing is like, and Ashley was so pissed. Like publicly, who's like one of the sweetest individuals you ever meet. I don't think I've ever seen her like actually mad. She was like so disappointed. She's like, we ran so much more than we needed to.
Yeah. I mean, they're animals. I've seen them train. Mike, they train so hard. Yeah, Mike's great. I've got to finally like talk to Mike because every time I see him, it's always in like quick passing.
Yeah.
And the first couple times I saw him, I was like super like mad about something. So when I saw him at the 6-year thing, I was on cloud 9, like best time. But no, they were awesome. The whole point of that is like I feel like a lot of people are really reserved and hesitant to put themselves out there. It's like that Little Miss Sunshine quote, like, you know what a loser is? Have you heard this?
No.
So it's one of my favorite quotes, and it's like, a loser is someone that's so scared of failing they don't even try. And I will just throw like Hail Marys at everything.
Oh yeah.
Like, you never know.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I'm right there. I'm my ball. I love that.
I was talking to Larry the other day. I go, yeah, run club thing kind of bombed. I mean, they still did it.
Yeah.
Ash and Mike, and they had another guy there went with them. But now I just know. Now we all kind of know, like, maybe not the best event to do that at. But
yeah.
The running community is like a tough one to like mingle with too. I've been learning a lot about them lately.
Yeah. Like I said, our On It Run Club is just growing like fucking wildfire.
Yeah. Do you run with them every? No.
I need to though, because I've set my foot down. I'm doing High Rocks in March in Houston.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so I'm gonna do it. So I'm like, all right, I need to dust off the running shoes.
I know. I started. The reason I got back more into group training again was I was becoming unsatisfied with strength training, just like barbells and dumbbells and machines and stuff. I just felt like I was growing really stale. But I also was looking at pictures of me like a year or so ago. I want to say like almost 2 years ago. It was right around the time. It was when I did the Boss Room podcast.
Okay.
I was pushing it was 248. And I was like, I'm just getting too heavy.
Yeah.
Like I miss being an athlete. Like I miss being like running. Like, I don't know if you ever did this. I don't know if this is a football thing or just a college athlete thing, but when I was in Chico, we walked everywhere. I always just randomly found myself just sprinting. I just take off for no reason. You ever just do that?
Nope.
Yeah, dude. I would just take off running down the street anywhere. It's just for no reason. I think it's awesome. I've talked to other football guys that are like, yeah, I do the same thing. Just all of a sudden just sprinting now down the street. But I can't do that now. I would gas out before.
Oh, dude.
But I do miss being athletic.
Yeah. I went and played in that flag football game with LSKD.
Oh yeah,
dude. Both my hip flexors. I was like, I can't tell you last time I'd like dead sprinted, and then we were like, it was at night and it was starting to get cold, so like the grass was wet.
Yeah.
And I was just wearing like training shoes, like gym shoes, the Ultras, and I love those shoes, but they have zero tread on them.
Jeez.
Yeah, so I take off running because I was a quarterback, so I like scramble out, and the out of bounds lines, like the sidelines weren't painted great. So I'm running and I'm like 10 yards out of bounds by the time I realized it. And I was like, oh shit. So I'd like try to stop and my feet just go out from underneath me and I totally ate it. And I'm like, thank God there's so many hot chicks here watching.
Yeah, right. Dude, falling down now hurts. I'm like,
it's an ordeal.
I was just like reminiscing about my childhood where I would just like, I would jump on. You know what's crazy now as an adult that was never like this as a kid was trampolines.
Yeah.
Have you been on a trampoline lately?
No.
Dude, it was a while back, but I went to one of those trampoline parks.
Yeah.
I mean, 5 minutes in, I was drenched in sweat. I was so tired.
Yeah.
What's happening? Because I had a trampoline growing up.
Yeah.
I'd jump on that thing for hours. Had so much fun on it. Never got winded. And all of a sudden, I'm just like, why am I soaking wet? Like, why? Like, did I fall in the water? No, I'm sweating. It's like same with riding bikes.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like as a kid, I could ride my bike everywhere. Like I never got tired.
I recently had that experience or that realization with skateboarding.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because on it, we had one of our big pro athletes is Neen Williams. He's a pro skater, great guy. I'm gonna have him on soon, hopefully. But I went out and I went and bought one of his boards. I was like, oh, I'm gonna get the Neen board. Like, I want to get back in there, just kind of cruise around, whatever. And I'm out there riding it around. I'm like, this is so much harder than I remember. And I'm like, the same thing. I'm sweating my ass off. I ate it once. So I went to a skate park and was kind of cruising around and went up like in a little bowl and lost balance. And I ate it not too hard, luckily. But I was like, fuck, man, this is, I don't know.
How old are you?
37 now.
37.
Yeah,
Wow,
37.
So you look young.
Alcohol keeps me preserved.
Yeah,
That's my dad's joke.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. I'm like, I just get like more nervous as like the older I get, where it feels like it goes faster and faster every year. It's crazy that like it's already been 7 years since I moved to Austin, because
That's wild.
it just feels. I think COVID fast forwarded.
For sure. Yeah. Even me moving after COVID, 'cause I got out here at the end of 2020.
Yeah.
And I had that realization the other day of like, I'm coming up on 4 years at On It. I'm like, that's wild to me. And also wild is that's the longest I've ever been at one job.
Yeah.
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 4 years at On It.
Yeah, I was. I mean, I never saw growing up myself as like a entrepreneur in the fit space, but
A fitfluencer. No, I'm just kidding.
you know, it's funny you say that. It was when I first got started with everything, back when AFC was like not big at all. There were other like influencers around town. They were trying to do a lot of like stuff together. I think it was just too many egos clashing, but they started a group chat, which I was in, and we had dubbed it the Fitfluencers.
Oh, yikes.
And it didn't last.
Let me out.
Well, it was the same thing. It was just like, you know, it was all about creating a false perception for validation.
Yeah.
It wasn't really about doing real things. And I could never fall in line with that. I think that's why I've always had a tough time making friends now, especially Austin is really becoming, it's adopting a lot of the LA.
A little pretentious.
Yeah. And it kind of was like what I was telling you, you know, in past I would tell people like, come to my thing and that I'm there, or no, I can't. Now it's who's going to be there. But
how's it going to benefit them?
One thing I never liked was on my road trip to Austin. I actually stopped in LA for a couple of days. I stayed with my old college roommate, and we went out. And I just remember this because this has been happening to me recently, which is when I was in LA, I remember meeting someone and they wouldn't even ask me my name. They asked me who I knew there. And like, what do you do? Like, who do you know here? And I was like, dude, I'm leaving tomorrow. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
And what I've noticed growing here now is I'm meeting people, but they're feeling me out to see how they're going to treat me.
Yeah.
Which I just find so bizarre, especially for someone like us who comes from like small town places. Like it's bizarre. Like, I don't like it, but it's extremely bizarre. I'm like, wait a minute. So you want to go look at my Instagram, or like, what do I do to determine how you're going to treat me versus just having a normal interaction?
Yeah, where I grew up, you're likely to get your ass kicked for something like that.
Dude, or you just get ostracized and no one wants to talk to you. It's one of the reasons, I don't know what your status is. I get a lot of shit from home for not dating.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, it's just, dating's tough.
Yeah.
It's very,
offline.
Well, just real life, you know, dating is a tough thing to do out here because, one, I do understand the aspect of it's an entrepreneurial city. So everyone's priority is whatever the goal and business-wise they're chasing after, which if you can't find someone that complements your lifestyle, they're more than likely going to complicate it.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of pick. So I understand that aspect of it. But it's also culturally, just as a society, has gotten so shitty.
Yeah.
And there used to be some element of like, there was a transaction with dating, like a give and take, you know, you guys kind of, had something to offer each other. But now I'm noticing that it's always, for both parties, it's always, what does this person have to offer me? You know, what do they do to, you know, add to my life? It's like,
that's where I do miss the small town. Yeah, like, man, dating was so much easier back in the day, especially if you're an athlete in a small town, way easier. And then like last week, maybe 2 weeks ago, it's kind of like an influencer thing. We have a member at the gym that's part ownership of like several different restaurants here. And so I got chosen to go, like, all right, they reopened one of the restaurants. They're like, go ahead, dinner for two, all paid for, just post about it, tag us, tag the owner. I'm like, all right, cool, perfect. And so I invited a friend of mine, this gorgeous female, but she's really cool, but she has a pretty significant following online. And I posted like one thing that like briefly showed her, and everyone's in my DM, even like chicks, like, oh my God, who's that? Who's that? Who's that? I'm like, damn, like get out of my
Again,
business.
it's everything is reduced to Instagram, which drives me crazy.
Yeah, which is funny for you to say.
Yeah, oh, God, dude, it's just. I mean, it's just I have a hard time dealing with that. And you know, it's like you might meet someone who is awesome, but I don't know. Do you find it a red flag? I've heard good pros and cons of this, but I've heard a lot of guys say a red flag for them is a girl with a massive following.
It's for me, it depends on what her following's for.
Yeah.
The girl that I went to that meal with, yes, she is extremely attractive, but she is a lot of jujitsu stuff. And so I was like, all right, cool. Like that, I can respect that she's built a following through her athleticism.
Yeah.
So that I don't mind, but I could see where guys are saying that's a red flag because of their own insecurities.
Yeah, their own insecurities, definitely. Well, that insecurity is just a big thing nowadays, and I think social media has really inflamed it because there's a social expectation that people are, you know, being led to believe that they have to meet.
Yeah.
But also the other side of that coin is that they outside of the insecurity, the red flag is that it's going to make a relationship hard because this is a person who is constantly validated.
Yeah.
And if their partner is not meeting that like high, they seek it out from someone else.
Exactly. Yeah. There's so many other routes for them to go. And I think that's honestly, and I've had this conversation with people before, I think that's why divorce rates are so high now.
Yeah.
So yeah, instead of resolving that conflict with your spouse, you are now getting validation through your DMs.
Yeah, man. I think, well, and then like, you know, one of the things that I got a lot of shit for was I didn't care that the Pornhub got banned in Texas.
I didn't know about that for the longest time, and then I heard some people talking about
I didn't care, but it's like I think with like and it kind of like blends in with fitness as well, where everything has just been so overly sexualized. And I've talked about this a lot on the podcast too, is like I don't like I'm a dude. I enjoy any thirst trap. Like I
Sure.
find women attractive. Like
Yeah.
I love it. But everything now has just been so overly sexualized that I think it has desensitized intimacy.
Yeah.
And now that there's a lot of these unrealistic expectations, I think porn has really corrupted a lot of people with their expectation of like to find
what a
sexual
date should be. Yeah.
a date, like, you know. And then I was reminiscing with my media guys who are a little younger than I am about what the internet was like for us coming up.
Yeah.
Like I remember MySpace.
Oh yeah.
Like that was it. That was the top tier. You had a song for your profile and your top
8 or whatever. Yeah.
and that was your thing. You know,
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine being that age with what we have.
Oh man. Yeah, like you said, be desensitized to everything.
Oh, and well, just also the constant need for, like just content, I guess.
Yeah.
And then the dating apps have ruined.
Oh, sure, dude.
And
I saw this funny meme kind of that goes hand in hand with what we're talking about, but it was like a female posted about like, oh, guys don't appreciate lingerie anymore. And then a guy, someone comments underneath it like, yeah, it's because you guys wear that to like raves and you guys are wearing that on a random Thursday night out somewhere. It's like, well, yeah, that sounds about right.
Again, it's like we've all kind of become desensitized to just the exciting aspects of dating and things like that. And it's just, with the dating too, it's like everything just seems so recycled.
Yeah.
I just find myself in the same conversations, and the phones have ruined socializing in general.
Yeah.
Just when I'm out with a group of people or something, I'll catch myself sitting there like at a Terry Black's or something with like a group of friends, and they're all just doing this.
Yeah.
Like, why am I here? Like,
Why am I here? Yeah, I could be on the other end of that phone at home on my couch.
Yeah, it's
DoorDash some barbecue.
Dude, I know. I love Terry Black's. Shout out Terry Black's.
Shout out Terry Black's.
That is
Doing it right. Some companies still know how to do it right.
Oh, they've always taken care of me. I have the best experience there. But they
I've been like twice.
really?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
dude, we'll have to go.
Yeah,
I love going.
Let me know. I'll go.
The last time I was there, I went with my friend Nate. Name drop Nate Boyer. Do you know Nate Boyer?
No.
Great guy. And another guy, my buddy Rylan, and another name drop, Matt Lyda.
Okay.
He co-hosts with The Undertaker.
Oh, no way. Yeah.
Dude, and we we ate so much food. Like I was supposed to go to ACL after that. I almost fell asleep at ACL. So I had the nasty
Had that itis.
hangover.
Yeah.
But we anytime I've needed anything from them, they go above and beyond.
That's awesome.
It's so much fun. It's so good.
Yeah. Oh, phenomenal.
God, now I'm craving it. But they yeah, they with the summary of like the dating thing though is like the dating apps, it's just has made everything like I saw a good quote saying that the Amazonification, you know, just everything's a swipe away.
Yep.
And that, you know, no one really resolves things together anymore. And it's a weird thing. And then blended into the fitness industry, people are surprised to know I don't really date or even mingle with girls in the fitness space. Just
same
as, you know, I'm around it all the time, but it's also just, it's a lot of the times it become tough to talk to because everything's about content.
Yeah.
Did you see that tweet by Simone Biles?
Which one?
She said, I don't know if she said, I'm tired of, or I wish everyone would stop living for Instagram content.
Yeah.
Man,
Love that.
perfectly said thing.
Yeah. From a very significant person.
It's just, it's okay to put the phone down and just, the craziest one is speaking of ACL, just someone's on stage and all you see is just a sea of screens.
Dude. And they post the whole concert to their story. I'm like, I don't need to. Yeah. I'm not watching any of
Or
that.
fireworks. I was saying 4th of July. I'm like, no one's gonna watch these fireworks.
One of my really good friends, good dude. He's a little bit older than me, so I think he just turned 40 actually. But he went to I think it was last week or the week before Creed was in town.
Oh,
yeah, and it was Creed and Three Doors Down, and I jokingly told him I was like, yeah, FaceTime me from the concert because I told like I couldn't go. We had our holiday party for On It, and I was like, yeah, FaceTime me for this from the concert. I was like, oh, you know what? Better yet, just film it all and post it to your story.
Yeah, watch it later.
And he's right there with us, like in the same breath, like as far as like I hate all this shit out there. And in fact, he was the 2011 World Series MVP for the Cardinals.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and I have not once thought about asking to have him on the podcast. I'm like, dude, I don't.
Well, you know, I think that there's a certain benefit to that, and it's funny you say that because I just had this conversation with a friend of mine who has a lot of like. His circle is a very high profile people because of what he used to do. In fact, I'll probably send him your way. Like he is great and he is more than happy to do shows. But his friends are like big. And I said, why don't you ever ask them to do your show? I don't want to. I go, bro, you're not just some, you know, random guy that's just trying to use people and, you know, do your thing. Like you're a talented MC, you know, you have this network, like that's the purpose of networking is to find a mutually beneficial relationship with your network, find ways to work with each other. And these guys would be more than happy to do that. So why not? You know, and it kind of comes back with the Austin Fitness podcast was no one was tuning in to watch me. And you know, friendship is not accepted as currency yet by my bills.
Yeah. Right.
So
I can't pay rent with friendship.
So yeah. So I mean, I had this awesome network, and I just said, "You guys want to do it?" And they were like, "Let's go." And then I just built off of that, and it's a cool treat for the people. It gives them a reason to come and watch. But my goal with it, and I've always tried to like let people know this is I want to get the show to a point where it's so big that I can have, you know, local people on, and they get the benefit of it. They get seen. Yeah. You know.
That's the reason. I mean, don't get me wrong. Mike Gonzalez probably has more followers than I do, but I was like, let's get guys like Mike on. I had another guy, Austin from the gym, who's a local artist, and so I'm like, some of the smaller guys, not smaller, but like some of these names, I'm like, all right, cool. Let me see if we can help each other out. Yeah. But then I get like a Hannah Eden who has like 500. That's
great. Yeah,
but she's a phenomenal person. But again, that was a friendship that I was able to. We talked about it On It, and she's like, "Yeah, I'd love to." I was like, "Fuck yeah, let's go."
I've been trying to get on it, or not on it. Hannah for a while. We keep playing tag. Last time I saw her was at the Fit Fest, and she was still pregnant.
Oh yeah,
she was about to burst, but yeah. That was the last time I saw her. So
nice. Yeah, she's killing it. She's doing great. She's training for an Ironman.
Is she? Yeah. She is. One, she looks like an Amazon warrior. Yeah. She is so fit. But she's always like moving, like she's a dynamite for sure. Yeah, I wish I could be on that level. But she she's great. I met her trying to think. I think it might have been through the On It people.
Okay.
But yeah, she's been great. I'm hoping to start shooting again after Thanksgiving and just shooting for the stars.
Nice.
I'm gonna try it out. I mean, we've done
Like you
30,
said, like,
30 episodes, 31 episodes.
oh, nice.
And yeah, now we got new sponsors we shot ads for. Got to start dropping them.
Hell yeah. I think this is 9 for me.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah,
Have you, are they releasing?
Yeah, I haven't
Gonna
released
drop
them
'em?
yet. Yeah, I will probably the next week or two actually
Smart.
like start releasing them. Yeah, I wanted to have like a stockpile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that was a mistake I did. Was I always focused so heavy on the guests that I would wait, and now I'm like months in between shows. I'm like, oh boy. So yeah, I'm gonna start churning them out, and I'm also gonna dial it back a little bit. I am gonna start focusing more on like individuals with like cool stories like yourself, like baseball, just all these
Yeah.
things, and not really care so much about like the needing someone big every time. It's just I used to explain to people I'm not Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Like I can't just have a
There's one of those.
on, or Theo Vaughn who has like carnies on,
Yeah.
which he's a great guy. Like
Yeah.
those are shows, but at some point, you do have to. There are really cool people that have interesting stories. I just really wanted to make sure that they were seen.
Yeah.
First, so we're getting to that point.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah,
and I think after the documentary comes out, like I think so, because it'll stream exclusively on YouTube.
Oh, nice. And when do you think that'll be out?
Man, I'm hoping January. It's
Oh, cool.
It's tough to. Well, the thing is like we're not done with all our interviews yet, so it's hard for me to put the story together. When, like, what if I get an interview and they're like, "Damn, that could really add to it."
Yeah.
I got to go do everything, so we have to get the interviews done first, and then I can get started. But I'll show you a clip after this.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
One of the short ones I made, just for an example.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. I'd love to take a look.
That'd be really cool. And then I'm trying to think. I think that's kind of all the Austin Fitness updates now. If you got any ideas, I'm always,
Yeah, we can collab on some stuff. Man, that'd be
Yeah.
great. Yeah, I'd love to. Again, anything I can. I'm always that guy, and I've been fortunate to be put in a position on it to where I get to work with some of the younger coaches, and I always tell them, I'm like, man, I tried to be the person I wish I had.
Yeah.
As far as like just being
Same.
here
Yeah.
or a resource over like any way I can help, I will help.
Yeah. I feel like it's been tough out here to do that because of, like I mentioned at the beginning, like the con artists.
Yeah.
There are people that you'll think they got your back. And then next thing you know, they're burning you hard and throwing you under the bus. And then that reflects on you. And I'll tell you about it, some of the stuff off air of what happened recently. And it's crazy, but I do like to be that resource. Like I enjoyed that stuff. So it's
Same.
fun for me. It's rewarding.
It's rewarding because I know how much I needed at
Yeah.
one point. And if I, like I said, if I can be that person for someone else, like I genuinely feel rewarded for that because it's so important. And like I said, without those kind of people in my life, I would not be anywhere near where I am today.
Yeah. And with the Austin Fitness community, it's probably been the most rewarding thing I've ever done or had in my life is like, I like knowing that I came from a background of no favoritism. So I get to give everyone it doesn't matter what their follower counts and shit are.
Yeah.
Everyone gets a day in recognition. There are no stipulations except it can't be porn that they send me.
Nice.
Like everyone customizes their own feature. Like I
I'll
don't just make that up.
retract the video I sent you then.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
That's for myself.
Yeah.
No. It's rewarding and I'm hoping heading into the new year,
Yeah.
it'll become a trend to start helping people out.
Yeah, dude. I kind of feel like there is a shift in the force, if you will. Like I feel like some really good things are coming.
I think everyone was at each other's throats with the election.
Yeah, with the election, and honestly, like there was so much in the last 4 years that was very polarizing, whether it was COVID or whatever, that really got people at each other's throats. And
I think people just got tired of it too.
yeah, I think
out.
people are just burnt out. Like, no, let's just all go back to like
Even like I expected more outrage post-election, but I think everyone was just tired of fighting. And now that we have an outcome, people are just like,
all right, fuck it.
let's just like, I'm so tired of fighting. Like, let's go back to having fun. And I think that's where we're starting to see the butterfly come out of cocoon a little bit. It's just
Yeah, hopefully,
Yeah.
especially like in our industry. I think some more, especially with some things that are coming in like RFK, not to get political, but like I think wellness and health are really going to be at the forefront of what's coming.
It's going to open up a lot of eyes to the general population of like how unhealthy a lot of things were.
Mhm.
I'm excited for that. He is a pretty smart guy.
He's a
Like,
really smart
he's
guy.
very passionate about that. And I don't think there would be like, it's almost undeniable what he is doing as far as taking all these unhealthy, unnecessary factors out, and then knowing guys like Brigham and all.
Oh man, Brigham's great.
You know, kind
I
of.
haven't talked to him about becoming on, but I'd love to have Brigham on. But I mean, he's become a very, I very first met him at Onnit. He was coming and doing workouts with one of our buddies, Ian. And this was like at the very beginning of Ways to Well. And, awesome dude. Also, like he invited me to go do like Muay Thai workouts with him. And we talked a lot about MMA because he's very involved with that. And then now since then, he's done Rogan a couple times.
Yeah,
like he's become a very big figure.
I met Brigham at Tim Kennedy's Sheepdog grand opening.
So we must have been there at the same time because I was there too.
Yeah, and there was like a line outside, and I was up there, and it was me, Brigham, and some others, and we were just like broing out. And then I wasn't really familiar with Ways to Wells or any of that, and at that point, man, I'd come across, and I still do, so many companies that claim to have like the magic, you know, the recovery or
The secret sauce.
yeah, man, and I can get gullible sometimes because like I want to help.
I want to believe.
Yeah, dude. It's like I just see how passionate a lot of these guys become. So I'm like, I want to help.
Yeah.
And but then I have to like pull myself back. I have to audit myself often to make sure I don't get taken advantage of, which has happened a lot. But everything Brigham was doing, and then he was starting to work with like higher, more credible profile people, and then just watching that, really what he's done as far as exposing, you know, how insurance is just a scam, and a lot of the things in the pharmaceutical industry, and then when he went and did Rogan, I was so excited for him. I was in Idaho when that episode came out, and then just seeing him continue to do it was so cool.
Yeah.
That's been exciting. Yeah, Brigham, I mean, I've known he used to do the Muay Thai training over there at Black Sheep, and I think he's still with the same coach, Josh.
He opened his own facility, I think.
No, he's they train in Iron Forge.
Okay.
Up in Round Rock.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's a sweet gym. But yeah, those guys are great. Yeah, those are all people that would probably be more than happy. I'm hoping to do one with I reached out to RFK's team.
Oh, nice.
I haven't heard anything back. So
I've met a couple of the guys that work with his team just because they were with Aubrey Marcus's team.
yeah.
And
So
so,
I've never even met Aubrey.
oh, really?
Yeah, all this time it blew Larry's mind. I was like, yeah, I've actually not met
Aubrey, yeah.
Yeah.
That was funny, man, because when I first got on it, that was when it was like maybe a month or two before they sold to Unilever.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so I was like, oh, man. And I had read Aubrey's book a couple of times. Like I was a fan of Onnit in general. And like coming in, like they were getting sold. And I was like, ah, damn. Like I kind of missed out on like the golden days.
The hater, yeah.
Yeah, but then Aubrey came back around, bought the gym side back, and it's been great. But like for the first like 3 years, like people would be like, "Oh, how's Aubrey?" I'm like, I don't know. Like I've talked to Joe Rogan more than I've talked to Aubrey. And she's like, "Oh, really?" I'm like, "Yeah, because Joe was coming in for a little while training
Before he built his own spot.
yeah, before that, and then like it was before like the world really started opening back up. So it was like before he's like touring and like doing a bunch of shit like that. So he was coming into Onnit, you know, a couple times a week and training with John Wolf.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. I love John Wolf.
I think I met John once at a cryotherapy spot.
But he's become a bit of a mentor for me. I like John.
Yeah, I've been wanting to meet more of these guys, but he I met not Aubrey. This is how small of a world this is. There's a girl that works, I want to say on it like corporate side, named Sarah Williams, you know.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I grew up with Sarah.
No way.
Yeah, like I have a picture. I'll show you
Done
later.
like photo shoots and stuff with her.
Oh really? I'll show you. I have a picture of us in high school hanging out
That's
together.
wild.
Long hair, yeah. It was
That's hilarious.
so when I like saw her, I was like, what? Because
Yeah.
I think the last time I saw her prior to that, she was working at bodybuilding.com in Idaho, and I took a friend from here there.
That's nuts.
Small world.
Yeah,
She's
Sarah
great.
Williams.
Yeah, I've known her like since I
We're
was a kid.
Facebook friends.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. She's she's awesome. Yeah, I've
Yeah, she's great.
yeah. It's crazy how like small the world is. Like
Yeah.
I remember being downtown, and I turned around and there was a kid I went to high school with. Another time I was down there, I saw this girl that I went to college with,
Yeah.
all the way in California. I was like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, one of my best friend, his cousin, and I also went to high school with her brother. She's out in Austin like randomly and like is like huge on OnlyFans. And I'm like, and she's like, yeah, so I've actually talked to her about actually coming on and telling her story. but yeah, just wild stuff. There's a fighter that I trained in Albuquerque that like after he left Albuquerque, I was like, I have no idea where he went. I come out here and he was one of the coaches at 10th Planet. I was like, what the fuck? And then he was soon left after that, but shortly left after that. But yeah, small like world. I mean, smaller still when you like take into social media, like you never really lose contact with a lot of people. But when you actually run into them like in a totally different scene in the world, you're like, whoa, you're out here too?
Yeah, it's I remember I was at the Parlor Yard and I was backing up and I was walking and I was backing up and I bumped into this guy. I turned around and it's this kid I used to go longboarding with all the time in high school in Boise. We just go down this super steep hill because we had it timed out perfectly that when the light at the bottom was green, that meant like there was no traffic coming behind us. And then when it was red, that meant the traffic, or it was like the other way around. But basically we knew which lane to stay in.
Yeah.
We were safe, but we would fly down that hill. But I hadn't seen that dude since then. All of a sudden, over 15 years later, there he is.
Wild.
And yeah, dude, it's a great city. I mean, there's so much to do here. I love it here. I've had some dark times here, but I've also had some of the best times of my life.
Yeah.
I think we're just still in the early stages of Austin's potential. And with what I'm doing, I have no idea what's going to happen in the next year, but
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited to,
Here for the ride.
dude, I'm along for it. I
know.
think that 2025 is going to be a great year. And, I couldn't be more lucky to do what I get to do and get to meet
Same.
guys like you and go train
Same.
on it. I always love meeting new people. I don't know why more people don't do that stuff, but
Yeah. I mean, that's like one of the reasons like why I love what I do, especially at On It, because so many people like from all over the world will come through there. Like I met this kid, he was coming up, I think he was from like Chile, but he was born in Texas, but definitely like he barely spoke any English. But he was coming up here because he wanted to join the military.
okay.
And he was a big Rogan fan, and that was like, so like he wanted to come by On It, and he was a big MMA fan. And I was sitting there talking to him, and it comes up that like I worked with John Jones, and this kid like loses his shit. He's like, I got to call my dad. He's like, I can't believe I just met someone that worked with John Jones. He's like, this is so amazing to me. I was like, damn, dude, I am so blessed to do like what I do for a living.
Yeah.
And that's like a pretty like drastic situation, but like even like just helping people on a daily basis and the influence and the impact that I can have on people's lives throughout the day at On It is just like, again, I'm so fortunate to do what I do, and I love it. Like I would, people say like I would do it for free if I could.
Yeah.
It's like, man, if I made no, like if I was financially well off, I would probably still train people. Like I love doing that.
Well, that's, I think what everyone's eventual goal is, and I'm the same way, is I think, God, I wish I could remember the exact quote, but it basically was like it had to do with something of like celebrities like surprising their fans and like seeing the excitement. That was always a feeling I always wanted. I used to watch those videos on YouTube of like celebrity surprise, like something. And I just thought, man, how great of a feeling must it be to like someone sees you and they're so excited to meet you.
Yeah.
But with me, and I think that's kind of comes back to like the social media delusion, is people think that that's who they are now. And they have this delusional perception of themselves that because they have this big following that they're somehow actually famous. And I'm like, no, you have to do stuff. Like you have to actually have accomplishments to be recognized like that. And so I want to earn that. Like I don't want to have to like create this fake persona or a fake reality where I think I'm someone. Like I would rather do meaningful things and then I think that would be the most rewarding thing ever, is to meet someone that's excited.
Yeah.
They're a genuine fan or something.
Yeah.
But I don't know what it'll be, but I want to do something that, gets people excited.
Yeah.
But I also do love being a facilitator. I love being able to put those dots together. Like there's nothing that's even just recently, my older brother, big car guy, right? Like he builds cars, races them, all that. And I was name drop. I was hanging out with Antonio Calvo.
Okay.
Calvo Motorsports.
Yeah.
And I sent my brother a picture and of us just hanging out, and he thought it was like so cool.
Yeah.
And introducing him to Tulsi and all that, like that stuff is probably one of the best feelings ever.
Absolutely.
It's like knowing you played a role in introducing someone to someone that they probably otherwise wouldn't have a personal interaction with if it hadn't been for you.
Yep.
So yeah, those are definitely like, that is one of my favorite things. And that's why for a lot of the events I do, I try to add special guests. and not like the local influencers, but I want people to go and be able to train with or meet people that they otherwise probably wouldn't see if they weren't at my event.
Yeah.
So that's the battle I come into a lot with heading into the new year is like, do I want to continue to do stuff and have to rely on guests, or focus on, you know, like building community camaraderie through these workouts? And so it's like trying to find a balance between both without devaluing the brand,
Yeah.
I suppose.
Yeah, I get that. But yeah, I mean, like you said, it's so like being able to cultivate those relationships between people
Yeah.
is, again, also very rewarding.
It is the best feeling too. It's so fun to just be a part of that. And it's like I was saying at the beginning, you know, not gatekeeping, playing a role in helping someone else elevate. You know, I've never understood why someone wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah.
It's just, it blows my mind. You know, there are certain limits and restrictions. I get it. You know, like me and Mike were talking about how so many people come to him about trying to go see Kill Tony and stuff. It's like, yeah, I can't do that either. But
Yeah.
but if it's something as simple as like there's a purpose behind it, I don't think that qualifies as
Right. Yeah, totally different. Yeah.
yeah, it's you know, but it's Austin. You know, there's
Part of the industry.
everyone can win here. Yeah, and all these industries are like merging together now, and I think someone like Rogan played a role in that, like with the comics and fitness are like starting to play off each other a bit. Just media in general out here.
Yeah. Tom Segura was just in filming something at On It. Like, I think I don't know if he's doing a YouTube.
Probably with Tellender again.
It was a no. He was doing like a show.
Oh, really?
Like, it was like a legit camera crew. We had to shut down like the back area. It's really cool. Like when Joe like brings in people, like from time to time they'll come into On It.
Tom's wife follows the Austin Fitness.
Oh, nice.
Christina. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, these are all people I would love to do. So one of the other things we're adding to our like media division is we're gonna start doing a workout series. So you know how like Men's Health would have, you know, train with Henry Cavill for Superman. We're gonna do that, but with like local people.
Oh, nice.
So like, I'll tell you some of the ideas I have off air, but that's like another thing we want to add another element to it and do cool stuff like that. So yeah, that'd be cool. Maybe we'll shoot something on it. I've talked to Larry about it.
Yeah, I guess if there's anything I can do to help, let me know.
Yeah. Well, likewise.
Yeah,
we'll send you stuff. But dang, we've been here 1 minute.
long time. Yeah, so let's close it out. Tell the people where to find you and what to look out for next.
Well, I guess there's 3 accounts. There might be 4. No, so you can follow the Austin Fitness Community page at Austin Fitness Community. Website has a lot more resources to it at www.austinfitnesscommunity.com. My personal is the Josh Jobe, Job. I will start shooting the separate show outside of like the fitness realm. We'll still incorporate it, but that's Everyone Hates Josh. Again, that was just kind of like a throwaway joke that kind of stuck. And then be on the lookout. If we're bringing the Austin Fit Fest back, you can follow that on Austin Fit Fest. I'm sure by the time this comes out, we might have more updates for you. Dude, appreciate you having me on. This is fun. I get to sit in the guest seat for once.
Yeah. You killed it.
Yeah. And if there's anything you need from me, man, I'm all ears.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate that a lot because I'll be the last person to ask for stuff because I hate.
Really? Oh, dude, I'll beg you to ask me.
Yeah. All right, good to know.
As long as
I always feel bad asking for stuff.
Oh, dude. No,
You not any like my friends or anything because
Really?
like especially like some of the athletes I train, I hate asking for stuff.
I think it's, I think a lot of it has to do with just people holding those things over people. I don't do that unless I set terms prior, which is rare. It's like a paid gig or something.
Yeah.
Like if it's going to take me all of one text to send out to someone, I'm not going to like hold that over. I hate people that do that.
Oh, dude, it's the worst. Yeah.
But
I think out of all the athletes I've ever trained, I've only ever asked for like one autograph, and it was from my mom.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I asked John Jones for an autograph from my mom, which she happily.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, when I do the shows, I have a wall and I have them all sign that and a shirt because I'm going to get them mounted. But it's not for me. It's just like adds to the studio. So.
Yeah, I've thought about like collecting stuff for like one day when I have like either a man cave or an office or something. Like it'd be cool to have all the memorabilia from like fighters I've trained. Or
do you take pictures with guests afterwards? Yeah, that's you got to come by the studio sometime.
Yeah, I'd love to come.
We're redoing the front right now, but the actual studio is all set to go. So.
Cool.
Yeah, dude, you're welcome anytime.
That'd be great.
We'll check it out soon.
Yeah,
and then On that note,
Yeah.
we're wrapping it
All
up.
right. All right, everybody. Appreciate you tuning in to the Lions Pit podcast. Again, I am your host, Nick Gomez. With me today is Josh Joe from Austin Fitness Community. Shout out to LSKD and Ali Holcomb for hooking me up with the finest workout apparel. I appreciate y'all. Don't forget to tune in next time.